and in this bonus session we talk about decision making, and I will share with you one of the most commonly used tools for high impact decisions, which is called the decision quality wheel. Look, no matter what industry you are in, leaders need to have the ability to make good decisions. Decisions are really at the heart of everything they are doing. So there are some easy decisions that we all make daily, and they can have simple processes, but there are also some hard decisions that will have huge consequences into what you're trying to achieve, and therefore they require a more systemic approach. And if you look around the world right now, making decisions in any type of industry is pretty hard, especially since the pandemic hit, for a number of reasons. The number one reason is uncertainty. There seems to be a growing number of uncertainty, and therefore in many organizations there is even an unwillingness to make any high impact decisions. Complexity. There may be many decisions, each with multiple factors to consider, different levels of complexities, varied sequencing, and interfaces to consider. Number three, multiple objectives. It is often difficult to compare different choices using multiple and often competing objectives. Number four, ambiguity. There is often a lack of clarity or consensus about the real objectives and their relative importance. And then the last one, people and communication. Look, decisions are all made by people in a human context, considering the organizational and stakeholders' pressures, as well as the culture of the organization. So that people use different ways to communicate and apply communication differently and also understand messages differently. And this can cause divergence and misalignment if it's not recognized and managed well. And in addition to that, there are blind spots, the biases, which we call the mental shortcuts. And look, we all have them, and they are affecting our decision-making capabilities and often preventing us from acting in our own best interest. And we are usually unaware of those biases that can affect our judgment. So let's look at now the most common biases, cognitive biases. Number one, confirmation bias. This is where we seek out the evidence that confirms our own previously held beliefs, which means we are discounting and diminishing the evidence if it has different conclusions. Another bias is anchoring. This is when we are overly relying on an initial single piece of information or a number to make subsequent judgments, and once that anchor is set, other judgments are made by adjusting very little from that anchor. For example, an anchor can be a project success date, like a year or a number. And then the thinking starts from how to meet that anchor, that date, as opposed to how to find the best concept to realize the opportunity. The third one is overconfidence. And this is when someone overestimates their own ability to make their own judgments. And this is often associated with expert knowledge, where people feel pressure to know, to judge, to respond quickly, without often looking at the current facts, current state, or new evidence. The fourth one, narrow framing, is when you focus on the details as opposed to seeing and understanding the big picture. That narrow framing can hurt you because it's very hard to see your choices in context. So to make good decisions, every leader needs to make a decision that meets the following 6 requirements. Number one, appropriate frame. That means you need to clearly define what is the problem, what are you trying to solve, why it matters, what is in the frame, what is outside. Number two, creating doable alternatives. And this is all about the choices that you want to make. Are they being creative? Are they doable? Are they compelling? Are they significantly different? The third requirement is the meaningful information. Where do you get your information from? Is your information valid and relevant? And because we're referring to the future, we need to understand our assumptions and logic and possibly use some probability assessments. Number 4, clear values and trade-offs. What are our value drivers? What are we really trying to achieve? And what trade-offs are you prepared to accept? The fifth one, logically correct reason. And this is all about understanding how different choices might lead to different outcomes and how different solutions give us different values. And the last one, commitment to action. Have you got the right stakeholders on board? Are they ready to commit? Because commitment to action is what really makes it a true decision. So look, all of those requirements are equally important and they're critical, and the quality of your decision is like a chain, only as strong as its weakest link. So if you have a good frame, for example, several different and compelling options and a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve, but you have poor information, you have a poor decision. And it doesn't make sense to have everything right, but again, not solving the right problem, not having a good frame. So areas of weakness on the wheel will indicate what you need to focus on in order to improve the quality of your decision. So what we're trying to do here is to judge the quality of each of the 6 components before the decision is actually made. And for this to happen, we use the scale between 0 to 100% for each of the 6 categories. And then by judging the scores, you get this, by connecting the scores, you get that spider web that tells you the quality of your decision. And your final score is based on the weakest score. And the 100% on the scale means that you've achieved a decision quality and it's not worth doing anything more in this area of focus. So 100% is where every leader should try to get to. So look, most organizations that have stage gate models implemented use that decision quality wheel at the gate level and also for any high impact decisions during the stage. So they usually develop a simple self-evaluation questionnaire in order to come up with some sort of standardization in order to use this process well. And of course, knowing that before a decision is made, knowing the score before decision is made will really help you to focus your attention and effort on components that need some help and ultimately improve the decision quality overall. So the decision quality wheel helps to create a huge value potential, and it's potential because it's not yet executed. So, is there any difference between a good decision and a good outcome? Let's start by unpacking what is a good outcome. So a good outcome is a positive fact, situation, or experience that is pleasant and helpful and in some way refers to a future state and that you value as higher, more important than other possibilities. And a good decision is an action that you take which is logically consistent with your objectives, problems you're trying to solve, options that you consider, information you have available, and your preferences. However, in a world full of uncertainty, good decisions can often lead to bad outcomes and vice versa. For example, let's look at that example of driving sober or driving drunk. You can drive sober and you can arrive safely, but you can also get into the accident and vice versa. You can also drive drunk and you can either arrive safely or get into the accident. So what I'm saying is the quality of the decision taken should be judged not only by the outcome, but also by the knowledge and information we had at the time of making the decision, the options that we've considered, the trade-offs that we've accepted, and the intentions that we had. So to create value, you need both the decision quality and a good outcome which comes from good execution. Thank you.